Hi, this is Jennifer, and today I'm going to be making some stretcher bars out of dowel rods and hanger bolts and some twill tape for my needlework, and also I'm going to be making a crossbar and some arms to go inside my needlework stands to hold my needlework because I like to make things. Okay, so here are all my things are ready. I've got, sorry about the sun, I've got my hanger bolts, which look like this. The screw-in part goes into the dowel rod, and this is the part that sticks out that you use the wing nuts on. I have my dowel pins. These are the little ends that stick up at the end of the arms to keep the needlework from sliding off. Oops. Here are my dowel rods for the stretcher bars. It's a helicopter. Here's the square piece that is for the bar that goes across. This is for the arms. Now I'm going to measure and cut and get this thing going. Making my arms 20 inches long. Stretcher bars are each going to be 33 inches long, and I've already measured this one and it is 33 inches long, so I'm just going to make them the same size. Now I'm going to pause while I go and do my cutting. Okay, so now I need to put the hanger bolt into the ends of my bars, my stretcher bars, and into the ends of my support rod that's going to hold the arms for my stitching. So what I'm going to do is this is a 1/4 inch, and I have a 7/32 inch drill bit here, so it's a little bit smaller than the 1/4 inch. So you have to drill a pilot hole, and then you're going to screw this in, but if you drill it the same size, then there's not going to be anything to grip. So I'm going to drill my pilot holes first and pray that they are directly down into, I'm going to go in the middle. And go down a little, and then back it out and blow out the stuff so that you don't split your dowel rod. And let's see. Need a little bit more. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Now the other side. Alright, that one's a little bit off center, but not too bad. Gotta be careful. Sometimes you got it on there just right, and then it moves a little. Oops. Oopsie. Let's hope that one's okay. Now for the All right, So far, I got the holes drilled with no mistakes. Let's hope that I can get the screws screwed in. Okay, so now we have to screw the screws in to here. And what I did last time, which seemed to work out well, is I used one of these little mats that you use to open a jar to wrap around, because you don't want to use, you can't use your fingers because you'll hurt your fingers by, you know, in it twisting, but you don't want to use pliers right on here because you don't want to damage the threads. That could happen. So I used this and kind of wrapped it around and then used my little pliers to hold it and to screw it in. And that keeps it from, well, it slips a little, but hopefully you won't damage the threads. It gets kind of hard towards the end. I have to use some muscle. And if you do, so you know, this part of the thread is going to be stuck into the wood of whatever support you have, like the edge of the stretcher bars or whatever. So that part, you know, it won't, if that part gets hurt, it's not that big of a deal, but you don't want this outside part getting damaged, because then you won't be able to thread your wing nut on. So do pay attention to where you are squeezing and turning. Oh dear. All right, I'm gonna drill my holes a little bit deeper because I think they need to be a little bit deeper. Okay, so yeah, it was definitely easier. I had to drill the hole a little bit deeper. So this one, there's a little bit of it showing, but that's okay. It's gonna go into the wood divider anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna back it out and re-drill the hole because I don't want to. So now I'm going to make sure these holes are deep enough. This dowel rod is a little bit warped. I don't know if you can see, it's not quite straight, but I don't think that's going to make that big of a difference. I'm just going to go with it. And there it is. All right, so all of my hanger bolts have been screwed into the ends of my rods. And now I need to drill the holes. Oh dear. Okay. So for my bar, where my arms are gonna sit in, I said that I needed my holes to be 2 inches and 3.5 inches from the edge on each side. So 2 inches in and then 3.5 inches in. That way you can, you know, if you need to go wider or narrower. So on each side, 2 inches and 3.5 inches. Alright, so these holes need to go all the way through. What would be smart, so that I don't drill through my table accidentally, so I'm going to put these here to support, and then I'm going to drill and go all the way through and then not hit the table. That is the goal. You want to go right in the center. There we go. Oh, you do need to switch to the 1/4 inch. Because this was for drilling the pilot holes for your hanger bolts. But if you want your 1/4 inch nut bolts to go through the hole, it has to be a 1/4 inch or even a teeny weeny bit bigger. So let me get out my 1/4 inch, and my old drill bits were kind of dull, so I bought new drill bits, which is making it much better than last time, I can tell you that. All right. There we go. You got to get off all the little, where is, I'm holding it, okay. All right. So see, oh, see, it needs to be cleaned up a little. Sometimes you get little burrs and stuff in there. You gotta. Make it a little bit more. Go up and down and wiggle it around a little bit to make more room. There we go, for it to slide through easily. See? All right, so that was done. You'll have little burrs and stuff that you just have to pick off, and then you have sanding paper so you can sand it. Alright, so there are the holes for that. Now, these are the arms, and it says that my arms, the dowels are a 1/2 inch from the bottom. So I've got them both together here. 1/2 inch. That's where the holes are going to go for the dowels to go in. And on the other end, where these hook on, I want them 9.5 inches, 11 inches, and 12.5. And this way, when you have your arms attached here and your needle point, you need to have this space up here for your needlework to rest on so that it's not pushing into the canvas for needle point, which mainly it's for my needle point because my cross stitch, I don't have this big of a section showing. But for my needle point, I needed a longer arm so when I turn the canvas vertically, it doesn't hit in the middle of the canvas and bend the canvas, so it goes past the end of the frame and supports on the frame and not on the canvas. So that's what that's all about. And then for the dowels, they don't have to go all the way through. But it's okay if it does, because you're going to glue it in. So I guess it went all the way through. That's fine. These have to go all the way through. So what I'm using to secure my arms, I do have some of those nuts and the big black knobs that I can use on these, and those are smaller. The diameter of the screw, the bolt, is smaller than 1/4 of an inch. But since you tighten it, and it's the tightness between the top of the nut and the bottom of the bolt squeezing together to make it firm, I don't need to worry about the diameter. I'm going to make it 1/4 of an inch, so if I need to use 1/4 of an inch bolt, I can, but I can also use the slightly slimmer ones and it'll work just fine. Now before I glue my dowel bits in, I'm going to take some sandpaper. This is just 320, you know, it doesn't have to be too fine. And I'm just going to sand off some of the little sticky outy bits here. And then you can also sand the edges a little so they're not too sharp. And then along here, so this end is going to be the one that's near you. So you might want to sand off the rough edges so it doesn't poke you. You don't have any pokey corners. And this end is going to be sticking up above. You can sand that in too. And right here, one of those stickers was on right here that they use at the store. I can sand some of that goober off. So now we need to insert our dowel rods into the end. Fluted dowel pins, and I have my wood glue. Okay, so oh, there we go. You just pull up. All right, so I'm going to put a little wood glue in here. Kind of put some on the end of my thing here. And it's a good thing I have a piece of paper here because it's dripping. I'm going to stick that in there. I'm going to take my hammer. Tap it in. Oop, it went too far. Alright, so I tapped it in till it's just flush, and then just wipe off the excess glue. And there you go. That should hold just about everything. I might actually, what do I have that I can use? Hang on. Alright, I've got just an old screw here. I want it to stick out a little bit more on the other side. So what you do is you put it on top and you tap a little. Come on, and try to push it out the other side. There we go. Because I want a little bit more height here. So you can see it's no longer flush, it's in a little so that this stands up taller to hold bars and needlework better. There's one, let that dry. I've got them where I want them. I'm gonna let those dry. Okay, so now, oopsie, make sure that you don't glue all your stuff together. And these were bars that I had gotten. This is an old set. I found this at my grandma's. This is an old set of stretcher bars that came with these bars. And these are also 1/4 inch. So these are interchangeable with the new stuff I bought. And so, I mean, you can make these too, but I just don't need to because I've got some. So, the next step is I need to put the twill tape onto the dowel rod. Okay, so the important thing is you want to get the twill tape on here straight. My husband's gonna kill me. I damaged our table a little. Don't tell. So I bought this twill tape off of Amazon. It's 1 inch wide, big old roll for like $10, $12 or so. I have fray check, so I will use that later to put on there so this doesn't fray. So I'm going to make my twill tape as long as my rods because they don't have to go through anything. I will cut 2 pieces 33 inches long. What I really need to do is have a line. I need to draw a line on here so that I know it's straight. Because I know this wood is straight. Take my pencil and I will just go along and draw a line. Gotta make sure you keep your angle the same. There we go. Nice straight line. Let's do that with the other one. Go. Okay. So now I have my line where I can line up the edge of my tape. I think I might do dabs of glue to get it on there first. On my worktop surface, a little bit dab of glue there. And I'm gonna go get a toothpick, hang on. Okay, so I went and I got a couple toothpicks to help with my glue application. So what I'm gonna do is take some of the glue and put it along the line here. Just right along the line. Put the tape on, press it down. And this is kind of just tacking it in place because I am going to staple gun it down also. but it's a round surface. It's difficult to work on. So I'm going to tack it down first and then staple it. Okay, so I've got that first one tacked down. I'm going to let that dry and we're going to do the second one. Okay, so that's the second one glued down. Set that aside. As you can see on this one, it's got these little staples. Well, I could not find a stapler, nor did the guy at Home Depot ever had seen a stapler that has this small of staples. So it's probably a specialty thing. I don't know if this was made in a factory. I have no idea where this came from. So I did get a stapler that has about as small as I could find. So it's about twice as big as the other ones. And we're gonna hope that that works. Okay, helpful hint. When you have a staple gun, this one is reversed. The staples come out this end. An idiot that I am, I stapled one into my hand because I couldn't figure out where the staples were coming from. And then I held my hand here and I pushed to look to see where it was coming from here, and I stapled my hand. Don't do that. It doesn't hurt, the finger works. I'm good. But anyway, I had to take a break and fix myself. I had to use my pliers to pull out the staple. Don't do that. Oh Lord. Okay, so this handy new staple gun that I just bought, the staples come out here. Let's try this now. Oops. Oh boy. Okay. Whew. So the reason I'm not stapling it exactly horizontal is because, see, these ones, they're stapled perpendicular to the way of the pulling. So it's going to be pulling here, and if they were completely horizontal, it could just bend and flop out the staple. Whereas if you have it going horizontal, you have two legs supporting, so it's easier for somebody to pull you over this way than it is to pull you over this way. It's the same idea here. But these ones, because they're so much wider and this curves, I can't do it this way. So I am doing it at a slight angle to provide a little bit of stability so that it doesn't just flop over and pull the staples out. Using the correct end of the staple gun. And then just hammer in the little edges that stick up. No problem. Perfect. Oh dear, that's a problem. That one's got to come out. Alright, so that one wasn't quite good. Let's try this again. Alright, that's one done. Look at that. And then what you do is you hand baste your linen, whatever fabric you're using, onto here. Awesome. Now I have to do the second one. See, I put my finger here and I can feel that the staple, so you gotta take that out and do it again. I keep doing that. I'm gonna kill myself with this stapler. Get one done. All right, so then you take it, put one end in, here's your wing nut. The other side. This side. There you have stretcher frame. And then I have, these are legs that I had made for a previous, this is for sitting on the sofa. When I sit on the sofa, so I needed a bar. Goes like this, so that when I'm sitting in my comfy chair. Okay, so I went and got the wing nuts and bolts that came with the Edwards stands. I'm going to put my arms on. Alright, so there I have my arms. You can move up and down, they can move in and out. Put my frame on, like that. And then you work on your needlework. So there it is. That's how I make my stand. And the bars. And how to make your support bar and arms. And how to make your stretcher bars, and that way you can do any length you want. There is a method where you can use sticky Velcro, and then you put Velcro on your fabric, and I do have a project that's done like that. I'd rather hand sew my fabric onto here than use Velcro, but that's me. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. And remember, don't staple yourself with your staple gun. That's not a good thing to do. And happy crafting. Bye.